Hello guys, and welcome to another OutTheSaddle production and another book review, numero duo. It's going to be wild. So today I'm doing the review of Einstein and the Art of Mindful Cycling by Ben Irvine. So I was sent this down by a family member last week, and yeah, I just thought I'd do a quick review of the book whilst thoughts were still fresh in my mind. So basically, Einstein and the Art of Mindful Cycling, it is about, obviously, Albert Einstein, the famous German scientist in the 20th century, and his outlook on life, nature, the universe, and how we can strive to reach his sort of harmonious view of the world through riding a bike, which I thought was quite an interesting idea. I hadn't really thought of it like that before. So basically, it talks about how Einstein was in a constant state of wonder and was curious about the world, and so he wasn't really caught up in the pace of the day to day, like lots of us nowadays sort of lead very very sort of hectic lives, and we're sort of not really that present in terms of our outlook, and we get sort of caught up in our own little ruts. I think that's fair to say. So basically in the book, it talks about Einstein throughout and his outlook on his outlook on the universe, his history. He also liked riding bikes as well. There was a famous quote where he says, life is like riding a bicycle. In order to keep balance, you must keep moving forward. So that intrinsic link with Einstein and bikes are always present there. So basically, it talks about the sort of origins of cycling and how back in 1817 the running machine was invented, and it talks about the natural progression of cycling. From that sort of scoot bike where there was no pedals or anything, to the sort of carbon fibre road bikes of today, which I thought is quite good, quite a light read. The book, as it progresses, talks about the individual benefits of cycling. So obviously you've got fitness, you can incorporate it into day-to-day living, and also the sort of the freedom that you get from it. Most people watching will have started riding bikes when they were little, as did I, and I can certainly remember the vast freedom that you suddenly gained from being able to freewheel along. He also Ben Irvine also talks about the physical mechanics of cycling and how it's way more efficient to cycle than it is to walk, and actually any other mode of transport. I think it's actually, in terms of energy expenditure per mile, cycling is the most efficient mode of transport, and it also has basically no pollution as well. So I thought that was really interesting, very very sort of succinct in his descriptions of cycling history, which I thought is really good for people that do cycle and people that don't really. And then sort of goes on to the sort of social benefits of how, like, basically cycling is it's been very empowering for women, and like it's done wonders for them, as they can they've basically got more access to other sort of areas of employment, and how, like, because you had to wear practical clothing, they could get away with not wearing dresses. Seems a bit ridiculous, but I thought that was interesting. And then he sort of goes on to looking at the global benefits of cycling and how you can, like, appreciate the magnitude of the world and nature with cycling. Because you're moving through space at a slower rate than, say, if you're in a car or another motorised vehicle. You have more time to appreciate your surroundings, but you can still cover large distances. So that's one of the big positives for me, really, and many other people. And then also Ben also talks about his own story and how he used to cycle when he was little, growing up, but then he started to he started at uni with his philosophy degree, and how he got all caught up in the academic world, and there was far too much introspective obsessions, and basically he was talking about how cycling got him back on track. So I thought that was a really good little narrative as well. So yeah, like, just my thoughts on the book. Short book. It's only like 130 pages, and it's interspersed with, you know, famous quotes from like JFK and other folk, which I thought was good. And obviously for me, you know, it's links two very important things together. So there's obviously a big emphasis on mindfulness, whereby you shouldn't get caught up in your thoughts, and that you shouldn't really judge them. You should just let thoughts come and go. And actually, cycling is a really good way of obtaining mindfulness, because you have to be present when on the bike, and the sensations and the feelings you get are very positive, and how, you know, it's almost impossible to be in a bad mood whilst you're riding a bike. So I thought the way he linked mindfulness and meditation through to cycling was quite seamless. Yeah, really good book in terms of that. And yeah, you know, he also talks about how in the present day, people are quite mindless. You know, everyone's scrolling on their phones, social media, etc. But cycling can really bring us back to the present. And so I thought, you know, that's a really good thing to sort of look at, really, and read about. And yeah, I think I actually didn't really notice this, but well, I noticed it after a while. But this front cover actually has E equals MC squared on it, which I thought was interesting, because so E equals MC squared. And yeah, I thought it was a really good book, and kind of leads on to another video I saw on YouTube with a chap called Vegan Cyclist. You probably would have heard of him. He's got just got a few more subs than I have, only a few. But yeah, he mentioned something called t-shirt riding. And if you haven't heard what a t-shirt ride is, it's basically going out for a cycle on your road bike without a jersey. So you wear a t-shirt instead. And he was saying that the physical act of wearing a t-shirt rather than a jersey actually altered your mindset. So certainly for me, I've done like quite a lot of group riding, and I've done a bit of racing, and it's sort of easy for you to sort of get really sort of into the statistics and the times and Strava and all that. But if you go on a t-shirt, you've never got dropped in a t-shirt. You know, you're not out to compete. You're there to just enjoy the ride, basically. So check out Vegan Cyclist channel about t-shirt cycling. I thought it was quite interesting. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say about that. But thanks very much for watching, guys, and take care. Cheers.